So today I want to talk about an incredibly common and useful structure, the 是 什么什么的. When we say 什么什么, that just means like, the three dots basically. So 是的 construction in Chinese. What this construction does, the simplest way to describe it, even though there's a few different ways you can use it, which I'm going to talk about today in great detail, the thing you want to remember about this 是的 structure is it's all about emphasizing details. So all it is, the speaker wants to draw some attention from the listener on a particular point within the sentence. And they put these details and this particular point between 是 and 的 somewhere, okay? So it's often referred to as a past tense marker, and it is in some ways, but it's best not to think about that. Just like, or at least, sorry, it's best not to think about it in that particular way. Just like with le, and if you're on our course, the Mandarin Blueprint Method, or you've taken our pronunciation mastery course, you'll know that le, it doesn't necessarily indicate past tense. What the real function of le is to indicate a change or a completion of an action at some point, which just happens to usually fall into the past, right? Because usually that means you completed something. But it's not specifically a past marker, if you get what I mean. So 是 and 的 is a similar thing. So it's better, rather than think of 是 and 的 as about the past, think of it as emphasizing details, because it's used in all tenses. So let's jump into it. So we actually have 3 different grammar tags. Again, if you're not on our course, so it's the first time listening to our podcast, what we like to do is discuss Chinese grammar in the most logical way possible and the most entertaining way possible, which is tough with grammar sometimes. But we try to avoid grammar words in English, like adverb and things like that, if possible, or at least in certain situations. And we try to just call it what it is to make it clearer. So we provide many flashcards with our course, and you'll learn how to read and understand Chinese in record time. And we give you thousands of example sentences so you can acquire the words and characters that you learn in context. And each one of these sentences, we tag them based on what grammar they refer to and what grammar points are within that sentence. So you can easily, if you want to study a particular aspect of Chinese grammar, you can just click on the tag in your flashcard system and it will come up with all the sentences that have that particular grammatical function in them. Some people might want to do that. We thought that was really cool. And it's also a great way for us to organize everything, to know that we've spoken and done videos about all the relevant grammar points that there are. So the 是的 grammar structure refers to, we actually divide that into 3 different tags, and I'm going to talk about these 3 different tags one by one, give you some example sentences, and hopefully that should just clear up everything to do with 是 and 的, and you can get on with your exposure and input and reading and listening, which is where the real magic happens, of course, which is where the real language acquisition takes place. So the first tag I want to talk about is, well, let's do the 3 tags first. So the 3 tags are GS, that just means grammar structure, special. So special grammar structures are grammar structures that don't fall into any particular category that we can, but we still want to talk to them individually, talk about them rather. So just GS special, you can just ignore that section of it if you want. And then we've got 是, description, 的. So remember, whatever is between the 是 and the 的 is the details that we want to talk about or make the listener focus on. And then we've got the second tag is 是, PPT. PPT means person, place, or thing, object. And 的. And then we've got the third one, which is GS special, 是, does what, guess. So this does what, guess. Does what is a verb. That's what the more fun sort of phrase that we come up with for a verb. And guessed is the Chinese transliteration of the subject. So what the sentence is happening to. Okay, so again, it's always easier, rather than look at these explanations and grammar equations, just to check out the sentences. All right, so let's do that. So the first one, GS special, 是 description 的. So the speaker will often emphasize a description. So for example, check out this sentence. 这只羊是白的. 这只羊, so 只 is the measure word. So this is saying 是白的. 白 is the white. So this saying this sheep is a white sheep. 是白的, or this sheep is white. So let's check out another sentence. 我的妈妈是最美的. 是最美的. My mom is the most beautiful. You could just say 我的妈妈最美. 我的妈妈最美. But this is sort of emphasizing the detail a little bit more. 我的妈妈是最美的. Okay, it's like saying, of all the mothers, my mum is the most beautiful, just making a bigger deal out of it, if you like. All right, let's do one more sentence regarding this 是 description 的 structure. This one says, 10个人以内, so within 10 people or 10 people or fewer, 是免费的, so is free of charge. So it's obviously the speaker wants to emphasize the fact that it's free, so it's obviously some sort of sales tactic for some reason, isn't it? So you get the point, guys. That one is the first type of 是的 tag that we have. Let's look at the second one, where it's GS special 是 PPT, people, place, or thing. Da. All right, so let's see how we can use this. The first sentence is this. 桌子上的勺子是你的吗? So the spoon on the table is yours. Is the spoon on the table yours? So obviously the point is yours. Right? That's the crux of the matter, isn't it? That's what you're trying to figure out. So you put that between 是 and 的. The second sentence here would be 我爱你, I love you. 我的心是你一个人的. My heart is yours and yours alone. So let's have a look. What's between 是 and 的 here? 是你一个人的. So 你一个人, you, one person, as in just you and yours only, which I really like. So it's just being a bit more romantic there, emphasizing the detail of my heart is yours and yours alone, no one else's. Very nice. I might steal that one. The third example sentence here from level 22 of the Mandarin Blueprint method. These sentences are all from our course, by the way, just to point that out. So if you're on the course, you've got these to look forward to. You'll be able to review these personally. This one says, almost all Chinese people's names are 3 characters long. So obviously here we want to emphasize 3 characters long. So you would say, 中国人的名字差不多 roughly 都是3个字的. So we've got 3个字的, 是3个字的. So that is the important part there. So that is with people, places, and things. Still very straightforward. And then we've got the final type of 是的 是的 tag within our system here, which would be 是 does what, guessed, 的. Now, I guess you could say this is the most complex one, but it's still pretty easy, right? So does what, guessed, remember, does what is verb, and guessed is the subject. That's how the Chinese say it. They say 宾语, 宾语, which means guessed, literally. So this type of structure contains essentially a mini sentence between 是 and 的, because as you may remember, or as you may know, the smallest and shortest sentence that you can make just consists of a verb and a noun, or something to go after the verb, a subject, which is usually a noun, right? And that's it. That's all you need to make a sentence in English or Chinese. Right, so let's see some examples of these. So the first one here. Which of the apples on the table are the ones you bought? The ones you bought. So that's the key part. Let's see how they do it. 桌子上哪个苹果是你买的? So 是你买, you bought 的. Okay, so 你买 can actually be a whole sentence. 我买, 我来, 你买. You know, it's actually technically a full sentence. All right, so let's look at this next sentence here. This one's actually the longest amount of characters between 是 and 的 so far. So try and keep up with this one. It's got a lot. It's got a lot between the 2 characters. So let's do it slowly. 我和我的女朋友就是在某一个公园认识的。就是在某个公园认识的. So 在某个公园认识 is met or first met each other in a certain park. So that is between the 是 and the 的. Now that's a long sentence, right? And it's saying a lot in one go. But we can actually take away one of the words and it becomes a different meaning. But it still applies to this 是 的 structure. So the last one, we said, oh, I met my girlfriend in a park. But if we take away the word 认识, which means to meet someone or to know someone, to get to know someone, it still works, but it has a very different meaning. So think about this one. 我和我的女朋友就是在某一个公园的, right? So it's just saying we are at a park, or we were at a park would be most likely. 就是在某一个公园的, yes. So it's saying we were at a park. Now, one last example sentence to finish off this last 是的 idea is this one. 你是几岁成为司机的? How old were you when you became a driver? So 成为司机 is oh wow, so actually no, we've got 几岁成为司机. So that's all of that is in between the 是 and the 的. So you want to know a specific idea. You want to know how old when you became a driver. How old were you when you became a driver? You want to know all that bit of information. It's all pertinent. 你是几岁成为司机的? So that's that. So obviously this final tag is a bit more complex because there's just so much more you can do with it. But basically you can click on the tag, GS, 是, does what guessed, 的. You can click on that tag or any of the other two tags that we've spoken about today, and you can go and read some example sentences and just review them a bit further in your flashcards right now if you want. But that's how 是 and 的 works, guys. I hope that it's a very simple, but it's a very powerful structure, and it's a good way of determining the details or emphasizing details within a situation, depending on whether it's a question or a statement.
Hey guys, if you like this video and you'd like us to help you reach literacy and fluency in Mandarin Chinese as fast as possible without all the headache of traditional learning methods, just head to mandarinblueprint.com to learn more.